Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series here at lovely Phillip Island. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Mary McLeod, Alex Simpson, and Dennis Branch are joining us in the production booth. Larry, how are you feeling about today's race here at Phillip Island?
I'm feeling really good. I love this track. This place is a ton of fun to go running around, and we're going to have some great racing of a couple of great classes intermixing here, and this is just going to be a blast to watch.
It certainly is. Got a good mix of MX-5s versus Mustangs here. They're two very close. After last round at Mosport, Herron took the win in the GS class, and Elvis Rankin took the win in the ST class Pro, and the ST class Open was taken the win by Mitchell Peak. So three classes here, two different cars here at lovely Phillip Island. And if you've never been around here, well, we got you covered. We got a track guide at Phillip Island.
Welcome everyone to Phillip Island, located here in beautiful Victoria, Australia. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today in the Ford Mustang around this 2.76 mile road course, a road course that was once 6.5 miles in length. That's right, 1928 was the inaugural running of the 100 miles road race that saw Arthur Waite drive to victory in his Austin 7. Today, Phillip Island plays host to events like the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix as well as the V8 Supercar Series. Well, let's begin our track guide around this 2 3/4 mile road course that winds along the beautiful coastline of Phillip Island. As we head up the front straight known as Gardner Straight, crossing the start-finish line, we head under the walkway. Coming down into turn 1 here, drivers will be approaching this corner at a pretty high rate of speed in 5th gear, upwards of 140 miles an hour. They'll get down into 4th for entry, get right back to throttle for this fast exit, get over to the right for the big entry of Southern Loop, turn 2 on the course. Very late apex corner, known to some drivers as the corner that never ends. Get a nice view of that beautiful ocean out there to the right. Another fast section here as we come down the hill into Stoner Corner. Turn 3. Coming up into Honda Corner, turn 4 on the track. Another late apexing corner. Got to get that nose down to the bottom on exit. Easy on the throttle coming off that corner. Out of 5 here, into 6, known as Siberia. Another late apex corner. Very fast flowing section of the track. This brings us into turn 7. The fast S's coming up here into turn 8. This leads us into turn 9. Lukey Heights, very exciting corner. Uphill left. Becomes kind of blind coming up over the crest. Got to modulate that throttle. Over the crest down into turn 10. 2nd gear, hard right-hander. Let the car roll off that exit. Back to the floor, up into 3rd gear, through turn 11. Good quick exit here that takes us to the fastest corner on the track, and to me, one of the most exciting corners, turn 12. This leads us right back out onto Gardner Straight. Drivers will be wide open through that whole section to get that speed up onto the front straightaway in hopes of overtaking the driver in front of them. As we cross the start-finish line, that wraps up our track guide for you here at Phillip Island. Thank you for being with us.
And we're back here live at Phillip Island after that great lap around Phillip Island, giving you a good feel of what these drivers are seeing here around probably my favorite Australian circuit here on iRacing. I know that's a very narrow field, but this is definitely my favorite of the two.
There's a couple. I think there's even a third one.
Oh yeah, there is a third one.
There are 3, see?
It doesn't exist anymore. That explains on how little I've ran it.
But no, it's a great track. It's got just enough passing zones. It's got some great challenging corners for these drivers. You talk about the turn 1 and the challenge of going in there side by side and trying to set yourself up for a pass. You've got some hairpin corners that are great passing opportunities that usually then lead to some opportunities for some more side-by-side racing. There's some elevation changes here. The dip down into turn 10, which is the last of the hairpins, is just a crazy, crazy place that we're going to see some passing into there, probably some overdriving into there. It's going to be an exciting place for some action there. So if you got to pull up your chair and find your place to watch from, that's going to be the one.
Pull up a chair, grab some popcorn. Definitely going to enjoy this race because I can tell you, we're going to see a few mistakes from a few of these guys. As you were saying, that little tip down hairpin, probably the craziest braking zone, and then the exit because it's got that curb on the exit, and that's the corner next to it. And I've seen a lot of Mustangs and MX-5s spinning out in there.
Very easy to do. Yeah, I took a couple of laps of the Mustang around this place here earlier today, and boy, trying to keep throttle control coming out of 10 around 11 and around 12, just trying to keep the thing balanced around even down through 1 where you're carrying all that speed through there. It's going to be a little bit crazy, but the MX-5s, these Miatas around here are going to race so tightly. It's going to be really intense for those guys to maintain car control and to track position. You know, not the greatest for drafting and such, but it's going to be tight racing, I suspect, around the top 3 or 4 in those MX-5s for a long, long race.
Well, the MX-5s, funny you should mention drafting, they are the highest draft cars as these guys start up qualifying. Here is your championship standings. Herron currently sits up at the top, followed by Cameron Martineau, Tyler Shiflett, Kevin Ford, Jeff Jacobs, Tony Kernon, David Sanders, Clint Vegas, Steve Daniels, Robert Burst, Randall McGrew, and Shad Curran at the end of the championship grid. Fight at the front, very spread out. Larry, how's it looking in the ST Pro?
Over at ST, you've got Elvis Rankin, the young man there on top of the standings. John Allen, just a couple of points behind him. Travis Schwenke in 3rd, Mike Dam in 4th, Jacob Beasley in 5th spot, Chris Thorman in 6th, David Patton in 7th, Jordan Fike in 8th, Cliff Aben in 9th, Robert Hartley in 10th, and Scott McClendon in 11th.
And in the ST Open class, Greg Mack currently sits at the top of that championship, but it's a massive tie for 2nd place, just 6 points behind him. Brendan Herron and Mitchell Peak are tied. Mitchell Peak had a great race last round. We'll see if he could get a repeat this time by. They're followed by Edgar Sanchinelli, Derek Holland, Mike Taylor, Greg Brockway, Nicholas Barchino, Michael Key, Casey Duncan, Pravanis in 11th, followed by Eric Kistler, Kevin Ladd, Greg Cummings in 14th, Lucas Ford, Jeffrey Cranston at the end of the championship table. And those are your championship standings as they are right now. Currently looking at Travis Schwenke as he makes his way around Phillip. I mean, he's in that final corner. Very tricky corner to get right. Expect a massive Mazda train down here because this straight is where all the time can be made up, especially if you're drafting them. And the Mazdas have the strongest draft in all of iRacing.
Yeah, and the problem with this straightaway is if you can get a good run, start drafting somebody, you're going to end up with a long side, 2 wide, 3 wide, but this corner here, this number 1, this Duanche corner here, it just sets you up for 3 wide, but then you got to get on the brakes somewhere to set up for the southern loop here, this turn 2. And that's the challenge, is you got to funnel down from 2 wide, 3 wide through these corners because you really, there's just nowhere to go, and you end up with cars scattered across in the grass, especially in this first lap. It's going to be an intense start. Once things settle down, I suspect we'll start getting into a little bit of cat and mouse, a little bit of playing where you'll start to understand who your competition is and maybe do a couple swaps here and there. But those first couple laps tonight are just going to be crazy with these MX-5s.
And the Fords not going to be drafting that much, but with the little bricky zones here, it's all going to be about throttle control and how you get on the gas and how you manage these tires until your pit stop. Both these cars are expected to take tires. I know the Fords are definitely leaning towards the yes. Mazdas are kind of flip-flopping right now, but both these cars are going to be very aggressive on those tires.
Yeah, that big heavy Mustang uses those tires a lot. You look at them just here going through turn 1, you lean on those front tires, especially that left front, so hard, and then you go around this turn 2 that he was just about to go into, and you lean on that right front so hard, and then those hairpins just destroy that left front in both of them around this track. So yeah, the left front takes a beating, the right front takes its share, so yeah, would not be surprised to see the tires needed to be replaced on those Mustangs in this hour-long race.
Yeah, as we're getting drivers finally coming around, this time Elvis Rankin sits up on pole, provisional pole, and he stops immediately. I'm guessing he didn't like that lap, but, well, he's currently sitting at the very top, so I don't know why you wouldn't like it. Looking at Mike Dam right now.
We'll see what kind of times that I think in the practice session he was not actually the quickest of the Mazda drivers.
He wasn't, as Hartley takes provisional pole from him.
Yes, Hartley was actually a little bit quicker in the practice session, so maybe that's what Elvis knew, that lap wasn't going to be good enough. Maybe he's making a little tweak and trying to take another stab at this with a fresh set of tires.
And Herron, consistently fast championship leader here in the GS class. We're going to watch how he takes that final corner. He set purple in Sector 2, then it was taken away from him by Clint Vigas. We're going to see if Herron has enough in the tank to come across the line. Does he take top? Yes, he does. 1:44.155.
But we had seen practice times down in the 42s. So we don't know if that was a little bit of draft or not, but I suspect there's some time in it. And these cars do need to warm those tires up a little bit. So we'll see how their next lap does. I think they get 4 laps of qualifying, if I'm not mistaken.
They do get 4 laps of lone qualifying here. So if you do make one mistake, you can get yourself back up in there. And Clint Vigas retakes provisional pole from Herron. It's by 0.6.
Yep, he was able to get the heat in those tires. So we'll see if Herron's able to come back on this lap that he's out there on and make an attempt at a low 43 and try and take that provisional pole back.
And a class that we haven't spoken about is our ST Open class. Current pole sitter right there, it is Greg Mack. Also, Steve Daniels, we're looking at him right now. He jumped into 2nd place in the Mustang qualifying, so they're going to be very competitive. And then Kevin Ford takes provisional pole.
Times are dropping so fast.
Kevin Ford, one of our drivers on camera. And Jeff Jacobs jumps up into 2nd place.
Yeah, we will definitely see someone in the 42 here real shortly. It's going to happen.
Well, Herron,
could be this run right here.
Purple Sector 2, coming across the line. Not purple Sector 3, but it is provisional pole 1:43.1 for Herron.
Almost a 42.
Woo-hoo. Kevin very loose coming out of that first hairpin. Let's run on board with Kevin through his, it is a great setup he's got going, and through our TV screen. I can see the amount of gizmos and gadgets Kevin's got on his very nice setup there.
It's like a fighter pilot.
It's going beyond fighter pilot and into a Star Wars cockpit area.
He is the Millennium Falcon.
He just needs another seat beside him and a stuffed animal of Chewie. Just goes punch it.
The most high-tech Mustang ever.
Hey, I'm a fan of Mustangs. I like high-tech Mustangs. And I was talking with Kevin during this week, and he loves this car and track combination. He doesn't get to drive it a lot, but when he does, oh, he just falls in love with it. Comes across the line. Kevin does not improve on his time. Currently sits in 3rd. Another Mustang driver we got on camera is Jeff Jacobs, the Gator from Florida himself. Currently sits in 4th place after setting a new personal best of a 1:43.399. Just inching closer to Kevin Ford.
It is tight. Those top 5 right now are extremely tight, just under 4/10 separating them.
Yeah, 4/10 separate everybody.
They were.
But Herron making us eat our words right there. 1:42.7. And Herron just, well, I said this once at Mosport. I might say it again very soon, but I'm going to wait till everyone puts in their 4th lap right now. Speaking of this 4th lap, I believe Clint Vigas is about to come across the line. But this lap has not been the best for Clint to end out his time. Does not make it an improvement. 1:43.3. Elvis Rankin, hundredths of a second behind Robert Hartley.
Yeah, with this group, it would be nice to say you're on pole for the MX5 group, but I don't know that it's going to matter too much.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. If you're in the second row, I feel like you're going to have an advantage on that start.
I'd rather be in the first row, only because if you're in the second row, you're going to get really caught quickly by the third row, and it just makes it even more difficult to figure out how to find position. Sure, you think you can make a run in the first row, but you're going to have someone with an even a better run coming up behind you. Being in the first row, being on the outside of the first row, gives you that opportunity to maybe work with that leader and pick your spot to go through turn one and to go through the brakes into turn two. I just worry about the second row because you're just going to fall victim to row three.
Yeah, row 2 and row 3 are always very questionable, as Herron puts in a new fastest lap again. He's putting on it. Well, I hope my dad's listening because he loves this word. He's putting on an absolute slobber knocker right now.
Way to drop one. Nice.
Well, my uncle first dropped it. I just picked it up from his football broadcast.
And Jeff Jacobs now up to second on the provisional grid here for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Jacobs put in a great time. Also speaking of a great time, Robert Hartley put in a new fastest lap here in the MX-5s. So we're looking at Mike Dam getting a little bit crazy coming out of the drop down.
See if John Allen's got anything to say for the Hartley and Rankin now both into the 47. See if Allen can get himself there.
Looking at Kevin Ford, he's just did his 4th lap. I believe he's coming into the pit lane this time by. He is not. He's just going to continue doing some practice laps that will not be counted towards his time. But hey, when you love a car so much, you just got to keep driving it. That's what I kind of like about iRacing. They give you you have 4 laps to do your qualifying, and if you finish before 15 minutes, I can still say, yeah, we're not going to penalize you.
Always take advantage of the extra practice. Always.
Indeed. Or that extra time to go calm your dog down.
Or, use the restroom, get an extra shot of whiskey, whatever it takes to get yourself ready.
I know they say don't drink and drive a lot, but here on iRacing, there's no cops. Well, there is NIM, but...
We have not put breathalyzers on your iRacing rigs yet.
I don't think Ricmotech would offer that.
We're just throwing ideas out there for you, Ricmotech. Just saying, you might want to sell one. All right, so it looks like John Allen's in the pit lane. It looks like his session is done. He'll start the race no better than 3rd, as is Hartley.
Tony Kernan, he's on his 3rd lap right now. Had a late start to his session, but currently sitting in 8th. And I gotta say, Tony's paint is just very simple, but beautiful at the same time. Coming around that final corner, the car kicking out just a little bit. Scrubbing of the tires is going to be very crucial here because that does affect a lot of the speed. Tony, he comes across the line. He jumps up into 3rd.
Making the most. Maybe he did save just enough tire there and really nailed that last lap to get himself up in the 2nd row. Great job for Tony.
Yeah, Casey Duncan going around the track right now, heading into that drop-down hairpin. Hard on the brakes. Avoid that inside curb. Get onto the gas. Don't get onto the outside curb unless you want to go for a spin. And it's a lot of low grip through here as you're getting onto the throttle, dealing with that rising left-hander and not going into the pit lane. But this is a good practice. He's actually driving into the pit lane because these drivers are looking to make a pit stop in this 1-hour race. Nicholas Parchino right here. Heading in. Oh, he's missed that corner. Actually, no, he hasn't. It's a very wide braking zone. Went all the way to the apex that swooped it around there. So he's taking a much unconventional line through there than most drivers would. That's not a dig, by the way.
No,
He's
not
much-
at all. It's unique. Unconventional work sometimes.
Yeah, he does give you a lot of speed coming out of that corner and leading up to a very tricky corner. And a big trick by Nicholas through there. He got it back straight. Was sideways for a long time. Bit of a wiggle heading into the hairpin. And oof, another wiggle coming onto the throttle. And that's how low grip this place is. Kind of like Turkey.
Maybe not quite that low a grip. not even Friday low grip, let alone Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday maybe at the end of the day. With warm tires.
Oh. By the way, that was fun to watch too.
It certainly was.
Yeah.
But as qualifying comes to an end, here is your race grid for today's round for the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. Herron starts up on pole, followed by Jeff Jacobs, Tony Kernan, Clint Vegas, Kevin Ford, Cameron Martineau, Tyler Shiflett, Steve Daniels, David Sanders, and Robert Burst line up the GS category. And Larry's going to lead you through our Mazdas.
All right, on pole for the Mazdas is going to be Robert Hartley. On the outside of row 1, Elvis Rankin. Second row is going to be John Allen lined up with Travis Schwenke. They'll be followed by Mike Dam and Greg Mack. Followed by Jordy Fike and Brendan Horan. They'll be followed by Mitchell Peak and Jacob Beasley. Next row will be Chris Thorman and David Patton. Then it'll be Edgar Chanelli and Greg Brockway. And followed by Jeffrey Cranston and Michael Key. And Mike Taylor and Derek Holland. Then Nick Parsono and Casey Duncan. And then finally we've got Stuart Rishal.
That's the race marshal.
That is the race marshal. Hey. Hey. See, rookie mistakes.
Don't worry. Peter and I would always do it.
See, leave it. You got to catch the rookie here somewhere.
Hey, guess what? We're all human over here. Yeah, but everybody is all lined up, and well, not everybody. They're lined up on the grid and waiting to get going here at Phillip Island. At this start, well, it's going to be a very bunched up start line for each of the cars because it is right as the tire barrier starts and the track goes straight, and it's just a very small run up, so the cars are going to be very bunched up, but away they go, rolling on here at Phillip Island, and they're going to start separating the field out just a little bit, and separate the classes so they don't run into each other. But lap traffic here, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. This is a very wide track compared to a few other tracks that we've been to, but I must say this track is going to be very easy to pass the Mazdas here because these Fords are just so powerful on the streets. The turns, not so much.
I think that's really the key here is that approaching the corner with the Mustang to the Miata, at least the Miatas will get through the corners quickly, and then the Mustang, the torque and the power coming out will send them past the Miata. So they're going to be passing mostly on the straightaways, down the front straight, maybe even going into 2, probably pass coming out of 2 down towards turn 4, and then maybe coming out of the next hairpin all the way around to turns 9. They'll probably do the passing there. But if they approach the Miata into those tight corners, there's no sense even trying because the Miatas will probably come through that corner faster than the Mustang anyway.
Yeah, we might see a few people later on in the race get a little bit desperate depending on how the race is going. We might see a send on a Miata heading into one of these hairpins.
Never.
Hey.
It could happen.
I'm just throwing it out there. It definitely could happen. The chances of it happening, not so much. But Phillip Island, such a beautiful track and such a beautiful area. Apparently there are penguins on this island.
I would not doubt it.
Tropical penguins. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big studier on biology and places around the world, especially in Australia, outside of America. Didn't know that there were a thing called tropical penguins, and then a resident Australian in the commentary box from Apex told me that nope, there are penguins on this island.
Okay.
Also, these cute little animals called quokkas that I've been obsessed with.
All right.
I'll send you a photo. They're absolutely
please,
adorable.
Please, yeah, no. All I've seen are their giant bats. When I was down there just outside of Melbourne a couple years ago, I got to watch the bats. They were amazing.
Well, speaking of bats, well, these Mustangs are about to be a bat out of hell as they're approaching the start line here to start off the Classic Sprint Series here for the Ricmotech Series. And here we go.
Great start by Nom. Look, he's going to make sure that no one's going to be on his tail going to the first turn, but this Mustang train, these guys are going to stay side by side 3 wide through this first turn.
Oh,
they better get this sorted out.
First lap, you don't need to brake very hard, but that run up very sketchy, very nicely held by Tony Canard. Kevin Ford made up a placement there. He starts up. He's going to be coming out in 4th as our Mazdas head into turn 1 right now.
They seem to sort things out a little bit better. They started wide, but they've gone mostly single file as they come down into turn 2. A lot cleaner of a start. Because it looks like Hartley's leading Rankin through turn 2. Really nice and clean for the Miatas.
Yeah, Robert Hartley, Elvis Rankin, Alan Schwenke, Mike Dam, the top 5 in our Mazdas. And the top 5 in our Mustangs, Nom Jacobs, Kernon Ford, and Vigas, who, well, he was looking very good on cold tires. We'll see if he can get up some of that grip. But Herron Nom looking on fire right now, currently half a second, and getting a good lead on Jeff Jacobs right behind him.
Yeah, this is the corner, though. This is the place where you really got to worry about, especially as the cars are all tight together in this first lap, is going through this turn 10 dip.
Sony got a big wiggle coming out of there. Tyler Shiflett and Cameron Martineau are going side by side. Heading into the final corner as well. Tony Cannon and Jeff Jacobs. That's our 2 people to be watching. Oh, Kevin Ford's off.
Yep, and you just watch them slide through there. You're flat out, but you're just sort of, steering and watching the car slide, just sort of dancing with the car all the way around that last corner. But you want to keep the momentum down the front straightaway and try to get a run on somebody. Here they go, side by side again through turn 1.
Oh, Kevin. It's all about miss. Oh, no. Off track. That's Tyler Shiflett. Luckily didn't lock up the brakes or just completely give up right there like I've seen a few drivers do in the Skip Barbers, and didn't come back out on track and into traffic. Still not salty about that.
No, but he managed a really good save. He managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction, was able to get enough speed off, so when he got back to the track pointing the right way, was able to bring the car down and get right back in line without really losing too much track position or speed.
Yeah, it was a very nice recovery, very safe recovery as well. Fight for the lead in the Mazdas between Hartley, Rankin, Allen, and Schwenke. And pretty much all the Mazdas are still nose to tail because the draft on this track is so good. It's an Orion 1-2. And they keep that, and they keep John Allen right behind. But Allen, no, he's looking pretty positive as Travis Schwenke trying to make it a Orion 1-2-3.
Yeah, he's Allen right there. It's just the oddball out with those Orion cars around him.
Yeah, we got the entire Orion team is in 1, 2, and then 4 and 5. The top 5 is just full on Orion right there. They need a 5th driver.
But Allen just wants to stay in this mix for a while. I mean, there's strategies to this too. If you can save a little bit of fuel, in your stop, you can maybe make you stop a little quicker. You can, bide your time a little bit. Maybe somebody else makes a mistake, and just sort of wait this out and see. You just stay with the top 2, top 3, and just sort of be patient with it.
Funny thing you should mention the fuel strategies for this race because I got them right here. The Mustangs are expected to go to the end of lap 23, so they can start their pit stops at lap 12. The MX-5 should be about 24 laps on a full tank, so the pit window should be the end of lap 10.
This top 6 seems to have broken away just a little bit from the rest of the MX-5 pack. And again, that's how these things usually work. You know, there's always going to be one break, and you're just hoping that you're on the good side of that break and give yourself a shot at that podium, that top 5, top 6. If you're in 7th and you're looking at the top 6 that just broke away, you're going, oh, I just wish I could be up there, because now that draft is gone.
And you're going to have an entire bunch of guys see, oh, he's the leader of our pack. I don't have to worry about other cars in front of him. I can be more aggressive on this guy because he's a lone standout now.
Yeah.
As that's going to be a very dangerous. It's going to be a battle for the second first place spot.
Yeah, and that's usually where, as soon as that break happens, it just becomes, you know, every man for himself when that second pack, because they realize that the race for the front pack is gone. And there may be you'll even see a second break, you know, with this top 6, you might even see the top 3 even break from the second 3. You never know. Depends on how patient the second 3 can be. Here we go.
Second, Jeff Jacobs and Tony Kernot. Jacobs sweeps ahead. We got a warning for car number 154. That is Jacob Beasley for crossing lanes before the start-finish line on the restart. Well, by the restart, I mean the start. Risk of a safety car. I know last week in last week's race at Lime Rock, there was a safety car. There are no safety cars. Tony Kernot sends it in on Jeff Jacobs. Jeff Jacobs, though, looking to get that switch back. Tony Kernot closes the door on him. Parks his car exactly where he needed to be. Tony Kernot up into second. Yeah, Phillip Island so wide that we do not risk a track stoppage for a safety car.
Yeah, I would be a bit against that we'll see any kind of a safety car out here. This place seems to flow. Like you said, it's wide enough. It doesn't have any of those blind corners like we had seen in the GT race last week, where the issue was a stranded car on his roof coming down the hill in Lime Rock. Don't think we'll have any of those kinds of issues. Oh, what?
Hartley's wide.
Yeah, that's all like that paved extra runoff there, though. He could get a +1 for that, but there is grip there, so you can use that.
Little bit of a grip there. He goes wide that time, gets a little register off track. You can tell if he does get an off track, if the number gets a bit of a flash. And here's that replay of the start of Jacob Beasley. This is what that penalty was for, as Hartley and Rankin continue to race on live on your left screen. And here's that 150. Oh, yeah, that's clear. Yeah, that's a clear switch over.
Yeah, that's tough when you're in that second pack to remember that rule and to stick with that rule, but it's there. You got to know it.
Indeed, and you got to know that, especially on the starts, because if nobody's expecting a switch before that line, sure, the gap might be there, but the driver behind you might just be like, what's happening? And we got Mazda bump drafted, my favorite pastime.
Yeah, and you can see that's exactly what Rankin's doing to Hartley. He's just going to keep pushing him along. He knows it's the fastest way around here. It doesn't make sense to pop out. These straightaways aren't long enough to do any kind of popping and swapping spots. Oh, but he does get wide, giving John Allen a chance to kind of come up underneath him. There might be a swap here.
Allen and Rankin side by side. Rankin's on the outside. He's going to have the advantage of that draft, but Allen's got the inside line. He's going to have the advantage of the next corner. Who's going to be the last of late breakers as they're racing into the first of multiple hairpins? It's going to be Allen sending it on the brakes. Rankin braking a little bit early, but Allen goes deep, locks at the brakes as tightly. Rankin goes down to the inside. Rankin gets back into second place.
John Allen had the position. He had the nice braking zone. If he had just broken at the right point, he probably could have had that position. Unfortunately, he outbroke himself and gave the position right back to Elvis Rankin.
You know what I was learning on how to actually race cars for my license? This was an overtaking move taught to me called the fake out, where you brake hard before your brake marker to confuse the other guy and hopefully try to entice a mistake. And Cameron Martin goes down to the inside of Clinton Vigas right here for 5th place.
You think Elvis Rankin might have just done that, like tapped his brakes so early and confused John Allen a little bit?
I believe John was expecting Rankin to get a little bit elbows out right there. I can tell you what, it works wonders in the Skippies and the MX-5s here on iRacing.
I'll keep that in mind next chance I get.
Mostly in the rookies. The pros not going to budge with that.
This train just is not shaking up much. It's just a whole lot of conservative wait and see happening in the MX-5s right now.
I feel like these guys are going to go all the way to their pit stop and in this train because the top 6, they're so close together and, well, they're all nicely packed in there. The entire top 6, all ST Pro cars, the ST Open category, is the leader of the next pack behind them. It
reminds me a little bit of a race that was broadcast yesterday, actually, on Apex, which was the spec race for Fords at Road America, and I know this one because I was in that race. The top 3 broke away from the next pack of about 6, and the next pack of 6. Yeah, look at this. So it takes one mistake in this pack, and everybody else is right up on them, but they don't want to ruin their rhythm, so they all just sort of fall right back in line to this front leader here of Hartley. But this is exactly what the Spec Fords did yesterday in a 35-minute race where there's a fuel stop in it, and the Spec Fords we all stayed in line unless somebody makes a mistake, and then you go around the one car that makes a mistake. Otherwise, you just follow the lead car and you push that lead car down the long straights. Even at a place like Road America, the second in line would push the lead in line to the next corner, down to turn 3, push all the way down to turn 5, and just like what you're seeing here is what Rankin's doing to Hartley, just pushing him, down these on the straightaway down into 1. Otherwise, they're just sort of playing the waiting game until we get to the fuel stops.
Indeed they are, and well, if you can create a big enough gap to where you don't have to worry about the rest of the field, this is definitely the game that you want to play. And the Orion team is going to be extremely excited about this. And here we go again, bump drafting here at Phillip Island. Elvis Rankin dancing on that bumper, or pushing hard. Here comes Allen getting very close up there. It looked like he was trying to avoid that.
I almost wonder, seeing how early that Elvis was in the back of Hartley there, is if maybe he actually could have made the swap and gotten around him.
Oh, he definitely, if he wanted to, he could.
And no, I mean, not that he wanted, but even to be faster as a pair, to go around him and to be the lead car then at turn 2 and try to build a gap behind him to John Allen, if that's possible. I know that's not the longest straightaway. Well, because... what's that?
That is a very typical IndyCar team strategy at Indianapolis, where they could swap cars in the old DW12. And there's a little bit of mistake by Hartley. Had a double move, had to catch the tires right there. Hartley taking a very tighter line as he was right beside Elvis Rankin. Elvis Rankin trying to go for that switchback line right now. They're going to be side by side heading into the S's. They want to work together. Shouldn't be fighting with each other, but hey, when all's fair in love and war.
Elvis is protecting Hartley right now.
Yeah,
he's totally protecting, because Hartley's making a lot of mistakes, and you watch Elvis, he's the one with the elbows out. He's protecting Hartley, and he's the one blocking Allen. Not blocking, but ensuring that John Allen doesn't get up in between them.
He's strategically positioning himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not illegal. No, I'm not suggesting it's anything worthy of a penalty, but he's being very smart about where he positions the car to ensure that the top 2 don't get broken up. And it's smart driving, smart team driving.
He's saving his team. I know the team usually lets these guys race on their own, but when they're putting on a great show right now, they definitely, I feel like they really want to go for a 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And we might see a little bit of the 2 Orion cars at the end of it, of Schwenke and Dam, going to pits a little bit earlier, as Allen catches right back up to Elvis Rankin, who, once again, doing the bump drafting. That just shows how powerful this draft is on this car.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough to draw away, but it's smart driving. And going back to the idea that Rankin's helping Hartley, he does this because ultimately he needs Hartley as well. Because if he loses, if he lets John Allen get between them, now he can't use his own teammate to continue to stick together, because when they go in, if they can pit at the same time, come out at the same time, now they can win the race together. They get separated. now you let John Allen have a chance to win this race. And ultimately,
Indeed.
your Rankin and your Hartley, you wanted one of the two of them wants to walk away on the top step.
Yeah, you always want to be on the top step as we got our massive Mustang battle right here between Kevin Ford and Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs round the outside of Kevin Ford. Can he hold it on? Now he's got the inside line. They're still wheel to wheel and side by side.
So it's a great corner to go side by side, but that inside line has just got a little bit more camber. It's a great place to be if you can get position down there. But it's a long run down here to turn 4.
Kevin Ford now has the advantage. He's going to go around the outside, but now he's set up onto the inside. They're going to go side by side once more. Hard on the brakes they go. Kevin Ford trying to get his nose in there. He does get his nose in there. He's riding that curb. Who's got the best exit on that? Who's got the best exit? Who's going to be controlling these buff horses? Side by side they go once more through this hairpin. Jeff Jacobs now has that inside line, but the outside line is kind of where you want to be. Kevin Ford getting a good watch out of there. Kevin Ford is going to stay in 3rd place.
And I'm just looking at Martinell right there as well. I mean, you've got this a 3-way, 4-way battle.
Cameron very opportunistic, trying to hold it around the outside. Jeff Jacobs heading into the most tricky hairpin of all time. They go up the hill, then down they go. Let's take a look at the fight back. Jeff Jacobs falling back a lot as Cameron Martinell already had the lead before that corner. I believe Jeff got very loose mid-corner right there.
Yeah, and that's, you'd rather just sort of hold off and wait one more corner, but great job there for Kevin Ford to be able to come back out in front of that, but it's far from over because they're going to be right back on him by the time they get up here to turn 2.
Yeah, that battle for 3rd is going to be absolutely crazy right here. These 4 drivers, very tight, and we got an incident under review for Jacob Beasley and Greg Mack, who's fallen way down the grid. We'll get that replay up for y'all as soon as we can.
This battle though, and now that battle's just going to be intense for a while. But look at this. This is just going to continue here with these MX-5s. Just has not changed at all. And every time you think there's a little bit of daylight between John Allen up in front of him to Elvis Rankin, they hit the straightaway, and the draft kicks in, and he's right back on Elvis's tail by the time they get to turn 2. Just cannot get away.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very hard to pull free of that draft. And a update on that penalty. Jacob Beasley did get a drive-through penalty for this incident that we got on our right-hand screen. This is that straight, and I think we're going to see, oh my goodness, that is no room to make that move.
Yeah. Just got up right up into him, didn't quite realize how strong that draft is. It's like a vacuum when you get up that close.
Yeah, he definitely felt the suction right there. Tried to get onto the outside in that curb, but curbs are not that wide.
No, they're not.
Yeah. And it's... No one really does mirror driving when you're at the front of the pack and you're racing side by side. Here's that replay again from Greg Matt's point of view. Yeah, that 154 very wide to him, and then just off goes Greg Matt hard into the wall. That's going to be his race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But this battle continues with these 4 drivers just completely in lockstep.
Yeah, Ford and Martineau trying to pull away from Jacobs and Clint Vigas, and well, they managed to pull out a little bit of a gap, but Cameron, we all know what he likes to do.
So with these Mustangs, way more than the MX-5s is tire wear. These things just really destroy these front tires, and with as much battling as they're doing, you got to wonder, as we're now running a lap 11, okay, so you get to this lap 15, lap 18, what kind of tires are left on these things? And do you take tires when you come in, and can you make the car last to the end of the race?
Most of the drivers are leaning on taking tires for this race. I know on a few different tracks that they're kind of saying not, but the car is just so heavy, so way down that taking tires is the best idea. They don't have to take 4 tires. They're probably just going to be taking 2 tires as the lap car is going to hold them up just slightly, and this is not going to be good for Karen Martin, who's going to be forced to take that wide line. And on that wide line, it's a bit off camber right there to make it a little bit difficult to get back onto the throttle. That pulled out a good gap. Jeff Jacobs and Clint Vikas, though, they're bumper to bumper, nose to tail with each other. We'll see if Clint's going to try to go for the switch back around. Jeff Jacobs holding down the inside line. Clint, he's going to switch to the outside. Side by side, drag racing here in Australia at Phillip Island. Jeff holding down the inside line. Can he hold it? Right there. No, he's not. Clint is going to swing it around there. That 71's up in the fifth.
He got a pretty good run off that last corner, and even used a little bit of draft, even in the Mustangs, to help make that pass.
And that Pacific Motors car, absolutely beautiful to make that move. And Mitchell Peak, the leader of our ST Open class, down the inside, takes the lead, but he's got a great fight with David Payton, who is one of our ST Pros. Now, ST Pros and Opens, they might be listed as different class drivers, but they score the same points. So they're all fighting for the same point pool in the overall Mazda category. And Peak's trying to swing it around the outside, set himself up for the inside line, but David Payton's very nicely done on the inside. This swings around the outside, cuts back in front of Mitchell Peak to stay, to get the lead. Now Chris Thorman is trying to poke his nose down low.
I don't think any of these guys care what class they're in. Right now, they're just racing.
Oh, yeah. Racing is racing. Now, the difference between the ST Open and ST Pro, the ST Pro guys, they have a open setup. The ST Open guys have a fixed setup. If that's not confusing on your first try, believe me, I was confused.
Got it. I'm taking notes. Got it.
Basically, pros use setups. Open is just open for everybody.
Right.
It makes sense when you think about it. And whoa, first spot of 3 wide down that straight. Kevin Ford, Martineau, and the 62 MX-5 of Greg Brockway. Woo, Brockway must have felt like an SUV minivan on the highway right there.
And Jeff Jacobs is going to the pits.
Yeah. Jacobs,
first car
driver.
to the pits. Yeah.
First Mustang into the pits, and that is right as the window opened.
Now he's got to make any tire change he makes. He's going to have to make that last for the entire remainder of this race, which is could be a challenge. But it does take him out of that battle for a little while, which might actually be more tire wear for these guys that are really heavily battling it out. If you can get out of that, just get out to turning good, clean laps, you actually might have less tire wear by yourself than you would in a group like that.
I need to make a correction about my comment with the open category. It's just an AMP category. It's not a closed setup. It's all open setups. It's just a different functioning for an amateur category. So thank you, Bobby, for that correction. I was led to believe that by somebody else, and whenever I find them again, I'm going to pull them into a dark alley.
Slap them with a wet noodle.
And Herron first heading into the pit lane now, and he's got a 5-second gap heading into the pits. But Tony Kernan going to stay out and see what he can do. But they are approaching a lot of traffic, that leading pack.
Mike Dam's also in the pits, which means our lead pack here of Miatas is down to 5.
Surprised Mike Dam went into the pits, actually. His team is all up there, and I would be expecting them to go 2x2 in the pits to save that draft.
Yeah, and actually, as he's done that, I'm just watching this group, seeing where the little bit of gaps start to open up, and wondering if Jordy Fike is going to be able to hang on to this group. He's still there.
Might be.
He's there, but they're just starting to break up a little further apart than what they were a few minutes ago.
Jordy's definitely in the draft to stay with there, but I am not sure if he can keep up with the pace of this technical course. But it's Chris Thorman. Woo-hoo, what a move by him. These 3 cars, Thorman, Payton, and Peak, Oh my goodness. And don't forget about Cranston and Herron as, oh my, Tony Kernan getting very loose. Actually, yeah, that is Tony Kernan. That's the overall leader right there.
I don't think any of these Miatas are realizing that that's the leader behind them. They're thinking they're in their own battle. Wow.
That was a wild battle that we were watching. I think Chris is just like, I think he wanted to go into the pit lane too, and well, he was really just blocked in there. Kevin Martineau, Tyler Shiflett, though, both of them heading into the pits. As we're looking at Hartley, Rankin, and Schwenke.
And John Allen and Jordy Fike also just went in at the same time, which leaves these two.
3.
There is the third, true. So Hartley, Rankin, and Schwenke all out there still. There's a little gap there between Rankin and Schwenke, and that's just a little over half a second. So Schwenke's got to make sure he stays with them, these teammates. And you can definitely tell, looking at the dirt collecting on the front of the cars, which one's been in the lead for the whole race. Until now, it looks like, as Hartley runs a little wide, and he's going to have to drop in behind Rankin, who for the first time all day, I think, is going to end up leading a lap.
Yeah, Elvis Rankin in the lead, unless they all go into the pits at the same time. But it is a Orion 1, 2, 3 right now. And as these 3 Orion cars are leading this race, the pit stops are just starting to get underway here at Phillip Island Circuit. You're here watching the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. We'll be right back after a small break. And we're back here live in a battle in the MX5. So you can see it's a battle for second overall because our leaders did go into the pit lane, but Hartley, he's actually stayed out. So it's Peyton, Peak, Thorman, and Cranston in this very contested battle right now. And, ooh, man, Jeffrey Cranston on the back of Thorman in front of him.
Yeah, these guys are just not going to quit. This pack has been going side by side through almost every single corner. It's like somebody forgot to tell them this is a long race. They're just thinking this is like a 5-lap sprint. They've been doing this now for 16 laps.
Yeah, 16 laps in. Clint Vegas goes into the pit lane in the Mustang, so they're continuing to go into the pits and working that strategy. Someone just dove into the pits right there. It was Mitchell Peak.
As one by one, they slowly go in for their quick stop.
And the pit lane here is very narrow. Chris Thorman holding that inside line. Cranston, we were saying we don't know if we can see a switch drive right here. Well, I think we're going to see that evidence. Thorman and Cranston side by side as they enter, but Thorman has that inside line. He's going to keep that third spot right there as Cranston just stays behind him. Cranston, the leader of the open category.
Yeah, keeping an eye also on our overall leader right now, which should be...
Well, it's Robert Hartley.
Robert Hartley, who hasn't stopped
yet. And he's behind He's actually behind another car that hasn't stopped yet. He's the overall leader of Tony Kernan.
Yeah.
And he's got Kevin Ford right behind him.
Yep, so Hartley hasn't stopped yet, so we're kind of keeping an eye on where he may come back. His teammate, Elvis Rankin, has stopped.
Yeah, they're currently sitting in, well, 6.
What I haven't figured out is what happened to John Allen, because something happened. He did not come back out anywhere near.
Yeah, he's just 16th right now.
Yeah.
Might have been a long pit stop for John Allen. And, well, we do have an incident between car 64 or car 60. And
he's out there now, so he's running. We don't know what happened to him.
David Payton and Chris Thorman.
Need a long pit stop for something.
I think he might have forgot to uncheck his tires.
Perhaps took a full set. Okay, well, that would do it. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that, get back to on that one. Because that's unfortunate, because he was right there in that mix, as we're still waiting to see. There's a shot of Schwenke.
Derek Holland heading into the pits. Travis Schwenke staying out. He's already made his pits on lap 14. The first driver to go into the pits, and farthest up into the field is Elvis Rankin and Travis Schwenke. Rankin sitting in 5th overall, but he's got a good gap.
Yep, and
Chris
then
Thorman gets a drive-through penalty.
Yep, just keeping an eye on these guys as Rankin's still out there, just able to. You see what he had done to the pit exchange there, pulling ahead of his teammate Schwenke there. We'll see what happens to Hartley when he finally does come in for his stop. You just see all the mixing now between the MX-5s and the Mustangs, finally really mixing it up.
Yeah, here's a replay of Allen's pit stop. Heads into the pits, goes for right side tires. Imagine the picture coming in and just going, are they going to lift up the left side? Yes, they are. And yeah, he took an entire set right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know that that's going to be the strategy you want.
I think it might have just been an oversight by him. He probably didn't even want to take tires, and it just happened.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays out for him at the end.
Exactly. All right, so we'll see if Hartley makes his way in for his stop. Not on this lap. He's going to try and wait this out. He's got clean track. At this point, I'm with him. As long as I've got clean track, I'm not going to go in. Because he may come out in the middle of someone else's fight.
Clean track.
Yeah.
Clean track, extremely free will to do what you need to. You got a 27-second gap behind you to everybody else. You got a 30-second gap to the driver who was first into the pit lane, and looking pretty good right now. Sure, the drivers on the newer tires are putting in currently faster times, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just 8/10 right now, but they have to deal with a little bit of traffic, a little bit more stuff, and if you wait for them to burn out their tires, you're going to have newer tires at the end of this race, and you can well, you will come out behind it, but you can just sprint ahead with your newer tires. Or you can not even take tires.
Yeah, and I suspect they're not going to take tires. If anything, you're just going to be able to run on a lower fuel load for a little longer. But having clean track is everything right now, because you've seen already where the Mustangs and the Miatas are kind of mixing it up a little bit. And all you have to, if you have to back out, whether you're a Mustang backing out, or if you're one of these Miatas, if you're Elvis Rankin and you're mixing it up and you have to give up a spot because a Mustang is coming up around you, that's losing time. Whereas if you're Hartley and there's no one in front of you, just keep going. So he's put it off as long as he can, and now we see him finally coming in. Oh, that's a wide entry.
He's pushing that limit as hard as he can. Heads into the pits. Very comfortable pit lane, I must say. It has a double pit lane exit, surprisingly. But the drivers are forced to use that first exit. So we're not going to be seeing somebody take the wide pit exit and cut back in on the track.
Oh, he's taking tires.
Oh, right side tires. Are we going to see the left sides come on? We are not going to see him. And where's Peyton? There's Peyton. Peyton comes
That's
along.
interesting.
He jumps up into first place. Where's Elvis Rankin? There goes Rankin right by him.
Do you think that was an error? Do you think he accidentally landed when he realized it?
No.
Wasn't able to. That's just
No, he planned on taking those tires.
Interesting.
But he's going to come out on the back of Schwenke. Elvis doesn't have a partner right now.
And we don't think Elvis took any tires.
Looking at Elvis's pit stop time, it is identical to Hartley's time.
Okay. All right.
So he did take tires.
All right. He's got about a 5-second gap right now. That's the one we're watching for, because those are of those that have stopped.
Yeah, of those that stopped, Rankin, Schwenke, and Hartley, I would say the one that maybe not take tires would be Travis Schwenke, as his pit stop time was an entire second faster in the box compared to Rankin and Hartley. He had an 18.33 second stop, and Elvis and Robert had a 19.3 second stop. And we had times going all the way up to 24 seconds with Mike Dan.
Okay. And John Allen's minute 5.
I'm not sure. I think John Allen had to do something in the real world.
Perhaps his pit stop of his own.
I'm not going to say I've been there. Yeah. Mostly in endurance races you see that, but in this endurance sprint race format, a 1 hour race, it's a very short race compared to a lot of the other leagues that we see here, especially NASCAR stuff. But 1 hour is a very good time for a race. Not too long, not too short.
But Tony Kernan, at some point, he's going to have to stop. He's putting it off as long as he can.
Yeah, and he's got a okay gap to Kevin Ford. They're separated by 0.2 of the lap times. Kevin and Tony, they both stayed out as long as they can. I believe they're going to go all the way to lap 22 right here. Or right now. Oh, hey,
As we
it's lap
speak.
22. As Kevin is going for...
He's going to go one more.
Yep, one more. He's going to try to run that Ford dry.
Maybe he just saved enough fuel. That should move Aeronam then up to second with Tony in the pits. Let's see what Kevin Ford will do then. When Kevin goes in for his stop, how he comes out relative to Tony Kernan. It'll be tight though. There was only about 2 seconds between them when this pit exchange started, so this battle for the second spot on the podium is going to be tight. And this is the part of the race where now everyone's spread out on the track, everything's all mixed up. Picking through traffic now is worth a second or 2 seconds a lap if you do it wrong.
Indeed, and usually with an average pit stop time in from pit lane start to pit lane end, it's about a total of 44 seconds. So that is the window of definite right there. Kevin Ford is leading Aeronam by 25 seconds, but that is not when the pit speed limiter starts, the pit speed limiter ends. So Ford can definitely push into there and push out, and I would say about 30 seconds is going to be our average pit stop time. So Ford, if this stays right now, Ford will be coming out 5 seconds behind of Aeronam. But Tony Kernan, he came back 10 seconds behind Aeronam right there. And here goes Kevin Ford.
Well, let's keep an eye on where Ford comes out relative to Tony Kernan for that second spot. It's when they went in, when this all started, there was only 2 seconds between them. We got to figure Aeronam's going to have the lead back here in a second. But where will Ford come out relative to Kernan? And how far ahead of Clint Vegas will they be?
Well, you can see Kevin going to work on his switches, monitoring his fuel, and he's got one of those button boxes provided by Ricmotech that can detect where it goes, and then he can cut it off right when you need to. And Herron takes the lead of the in the Mustangs. Kevin Ford coming out of the pits. There's Tony Kernon. Kevin Ford falling down to third. He's going to come right in front of Clint Vigas. Jeff Jacobs right behind him.
Pretty long stop.
Yeah, about 20.73. 3 seconds longer than Tony Kernon.
And that does, like you said, put him right into the grips there of Clint Vigas and Jeff Jacobs. So he'll have the fresher tires. Certainly, Jacobs is the first one to pit. So Jacobs is going to be the one with the worst tires of this bunch.
Indeed he is, but Jeff Jacobs definitely knows how to make that car work, as we're looking at Tyler Shiflett and Steve Daniel. Steve Daniel getting his, well, a little bit of a block right there from Elvis Rankin. When I say block, I don't mean like intentional block. It just got his nose chopped off right there.
Well, this is where it gets interesting, because we said when Hartley came out from his pit stops, he was about 5 seconds behind Rankin, and he's now down to about 3.5.
3. And Elvis Rankin held on to the outside now. Daniel's returning the favor right there.
Yeah, so this gap may be closing.
That gap is closing. Robert Hartley is the fastest Miata on the track right now. Last lap he set in a 1:48.86. Last lap for Elvis, 1:49.22. So Robert staying out to reach the tire fall off of the other cars, and then he goes, oh, Kevin Ford. Ford has an issue. Kevin Ford spun coming out of the drop-down hairpin, and looks like he went off track a little bit, judging by the dust that was collected on his car and tires. He stayed out, but those new tires, cold tires, it's so unfortunate.
It's a tough corner, toughest corner on the track. Sometimes you pay that price.
Yeah, when you do pay that price, it's just like you just completely forget about the cold tires. It is just one of those moments where you're just like, how did I forget that?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you start putting sticky notes all over your monitors, being like, this button does what? This button does this. Remember at the pits, cold tires. Buy milk on Tuesday.
I have one of those for my shifter car. Check water in the radiator. I always have one of those.
This knob left, brake bias up. Don't touch this. I have a few of those. And here's a replay of the Kevin Ford incident on our right screen, coming out of that hairpin. And does he get it over to that curb? Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep, just picks up a little bit of dirt on everything. Got to clean all the tires back off again and get going. You lose all that momentum that would have carried you all the way down that front straight.
Indeed. And that front straight literally depends on that exit. I know you got a corner in front of there, and if you can go full throttle through there, but it all starts from where you get back onto the throttle. As David Payton and Hartley swinging it down to the inside. And Hartley is up in a second, and I think he's about to go hunting for Elvis.
Did you see he strategically using that draft to get past Payton, to get down there into 10 with a nice momentum, and now he's going to be hunting for Rankin going down as they're going to. That's the only thing between him and Rankin right now is just a little bit of daylight, about 2.5 seconds. He needs about 1.1, and he'll start feeling that draft. It'll just draw him in.
I feel like, I'm going to be honest, I feels like when you're 2 seconds behind another Miata, you're going to start feeling that draft even more. That's how powerful the draft is.
And if he can even get a push, if he can somehow get a push from behind him, that'll help even more. But I suspect in about 3 laps, we're going to see Hartley in the draft range.
Well, Hartley last lap was an entire, quick math right here. Yeah, he was at about 8 tenths. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis, for that.
Quick math.
8 tenths faster last time by. The current lap before there, 1 second. So Elvis Rankin under fire by Hartley, and he needs to be within that 1.8 to 2 second gap to get affected by that draft. And oh no, Travis Schwenke. It's off of that hairpin.
Yep, that's just going to let Mike Dam come right up alongside of him now. These teammates, they're going to throw the whole teammate thing right out the window here to start battling with 15 minutes left.
Well, when you are in the leading 3 for the podium, I believe the team book goes out the window. Hey, let's throw the gloves off and just go straight fighting. And I just want to reference the entire TCR class TTD drivers right there.
Yeah, pretty much. The gloves come off.
Gloves come off, and so does the shirt. Jersey style. And Hartley, 1.8 seconds behind Elvis Rankin, and Dick Pitt goes into the pit lane. That's odd, but we'll go back to that when we can. But yep, yeah. Hartley, he's definitely in that draft. He just got a 2/10 on that straight. Yeah, the fact that he's still turning laps like this, and now you get within 1/6, you're definitely in the draft in every one of these straightaways. And when you are the chaser as opposed to the chasee, it's so much easier because you can pick out your marks. You don't have to check your mirrors. Everything's in front of you. When you are the one out in front, you're not only looking at what's in front of you, you're also looking in your mirrors, and it's the worst thing you can do. You really should do here is the old phrase, you should turn your mirrors down. That's the phrase. You should really get in your own head when you're in the lead. Turn them down. Don't worry about what's behind you and just go, go, go. Unfortunately, right now, I think Elvis is checking his mirrors a little bit too often because there's a Hartley. It's the newer tires. It's the newer tires that are helping Hartley. But if Elvis Rankin is checking the mirrors, can't really do this in iRacing. You can certainly turn the mirrors off, but that would involve you hitting a hotkey that you would have to memorize. You can't just rip it off of your monitor. You can choose to ignore them. You can certainly turn off, instead of the F3 button, hit F2 or F something else, and don't even look at that relative screen. Don't even look at what that gap is, because right now, if he's seen it go from 4.5 seconds down to 1.7, he's not going to be happy about it. Yeah, hit the F1 screen. Watch that remaining time and just focus on your line. But Hartley is right there. He get up a lot of time through that corner. Is immediately. Oh, wait, that was Travis Schwenke. That was Schwenke and Mike Dam there battling cars. But Hartley now, similar. But Hartley now, 1.5, he's going to field this draft. You watch that 1.5 go to 1.3 just on this front straightaway. I've got to say 1.2. Are we calling the draft now? Yeah, we're calling the draft. But the battle of Dam and Schwenke's. Yep. See, I told you it was going to do 1.3. Oh, man. But this is definitely within 2. I can tell you that. Yeah, well, he's in the draft now, and now it's just going to be, every corner, every man for himself. Both of these battles, these Orion cars, this battle here, this battle of Schwenke and Dam, this is for the third step of the podium here in the MX5 class. And Schwenke was up there, had that little bit of a mistake, and let Mike Dam come right up with him, and now he's going to have a fight on his hands. Yeah, this battle for third between Schwenke and Dam after that pit stop, I feel like it's going to get a little bit more rough and tumble between these two, since they know that this is now for the last remaining podium spot to join, their teammates. But it's currently Orion 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Mike Dam's tires are a couple laps older, just a little bit, 2 laps. So we'll see if that has anything to do with the way this plays out. Schwenke pit on 14, Mike Dam pit on lap 12. At this point, I don't know how much that's going to matter. It's going to matter of just your own, your eyes, your head, how much focus you have left to hit all your marks. And are you thinking already about that chess match strategy of where do I make the pass or where do I defend the pass on the last 2 laps? Chess match. Rankin and Hartley are on the straight again. You want to call this gap now? What is it right now? Already down to 1? We'll say it's going to be like 0.6. They're going to be nose to tail by the time they get to 2. I'm going to say 0.8. Hey! I get this one. The viewers are on the edge of their seats.
Hartley's going to be right there, though. Now he's going to be... I don't think there's going to be as much pushing and bump drafting for a friendly way like it was for the first third of this race.
There might be bumping, just not the drafting terms.
Yeah, this isn't going to be the friendly type to say, hey, buddy, I'm helping you along. This is going to be the, I'm going to bump you until I can get you out of my way, and I'm going to go by you.
We're looking at a Mustang on the right-hand side. Is this a... This is Herron, the overall leader right now.
He has just been cruising.
Yeah, he's definitely on a tear, and he's coming up on a few MX-5s. We can see where Herron
Did you ever take
is.
notes of his pit stop time?
17:02.
Herron's?
Yes.
Very short?
It's at the average. It's on the shorter side, but we've had stops that are faster. Jeff Jacobs had a 16.9.
Yeah.
So he's definitely taking his friends out to the Barbie tonight.
Yeah. Because Herron's just been flying around here, lap after lap, still running in the 43s.
I believe everybody took tires, though.
Yeah. But Herron,
I know the fuel can is very fast in the Ford.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the fact they're still running 43s out here at this stage of the race.
That's just Herron being Herron. He is so consistent.
Mm-hmm. There's still a couple of battles going on in this field, but Herron said he doesn't want to have any battles today. You give yourself a margin, and then you can go out and just pick your way through traffic as you come up on them. Don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about rushing through. Super clean.
Yeah, incredibly super clean. Hey, speaking of battles, we got a battle for the lead, and they are nose to tail right now with each other. Elvis Rankin, Robert Hartley battling it out for the lead of our Mazda class as they enter 10 minutes to go. And there's Robert Hartley and Travis Schwenke's times, and these two guys are pulling out an entire 1 second gap faster than the rest of the field. So Rankin and Hartley pulling the gloves off right now. They're about to duke it up.
So you remember the first 20 minutes of this race, it was Hartley, from the pole, took the lead, and Rankin was protecting him and just pushing along, but Rankin got to watch Hartley make any little bit of mistakes, knew where he was faster. Choose on the other foot. Rankin's now the one out in front. Hartley gets to sit here and sit behind him and wait for Elvis to make his mistakes and gets to learn. So now, at this point, pretty soon here, they're going to both know each other's strengths and weaknesses for this last couple of laps.
Indeed they are, and Hartley now, he has an advantage of the draft from Elvis Rankin, so if he makes a mistake, he can make that up in the draft. But Elvis, though, just being 13 years of age, will he let the pressure get to him? Goes all the way down to the pit wall, trying to maximize his turn in. Here comes Hartley now. He's going to be on his bumper. He's not going to look down to the inside. He's just going to stay there with Elvis. And now I think he's going to be putting on that chest match. And Rankin takes a big hit of that curb, setting up a lot of dirt. And we had an incident in the hairpin that these guys are having. Coming up to last lap by. And that was Tony Kernan. That we're saying, no. Ooh. Oh. And
Yeah,
Tony's currently second in the Mustangs, and well, I feel like a penalty might be coming to there, and he's now currently having to fight for second if that penalty does not get assessed very soon. But knowing the stewards in this lobby, they are very on top of things, and there goes Clint Vigas down the inside and take up second place.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Tony needed to get by that slower Miata, and the Miata must not have seen him coming. Didn't exactly yield the position there as the slower class, and the blue flags were waving, but unfortunately for him, it's going to be a lost position, but he's going to have to fight back. Here comes the fight.
Oof. Taking that wider line, going to try to go for a switch back off the exit. Can he get back onto the throttle? It is not going to help him out right there. Tony Kennard stays in third. You know, after being involved in that incident, it was a big hit, but that Ford is very resilient. I do not see any damage on it.
Built Ford tough? They just write themselves. I'm sorry.
I know, that was a good one. And there's the penalty being assist. Drive-through penalty being issued for Tony Kernan. And he's going to race his way into the pit lane. And Clint knows what he needed to do, and he's just going to let him by, try not to stress out Tony that much. Back up to our fight for the lead in our MX-5s. Rankin and Hartley. Orion 1-2. The 1 versus the 3. Hartley on the newer tires. Rankin on the pace and the position. Hartley looking down to the inside, heading into the hairpin. Just looking, making sure Elvis knows that he's there. Wait, I'm pretty sure Elvis, in case he forgot, and to maybe get that 13-year-old heart a little bit pumping right there. But we know Elvis at his age, he's definitely showing a lot of cool concentration right there. So he knows what to do in this type of situation.
So that's interesting about this track is if you're at the trailing car and you've got 1 lap to go and you're thinking, okay, I'll just draft him coming out of the last hairpin, I'll get the run down the front straight, and I'll pass him going into turn 2. Well, that's great, except you can get passed back going into the hairpin at turn 4. And, okay, so you get the lead, you lose the lead, but you can still get it back before you get to the hairpin again at turn 10. So there's at least 3 passing zones. So if you are thinking about where are you going to make your pass, do you put it all and hope you can get by going into that last hairpin, or do you want to make one early move and try and hold off charge coming late? And
well, here comes Hartley.
Yeah, if you're Hartley, you've got to think about that now. He's not going to make it here. He's probably got 2 laps left.
He can make it, and he's going for it. Side by side, Hartley with the speed going down to the inside of a road runner. Side by side they go. Hartley down low. Rankin on the outside. Rankin holding down the inside line. Might be testing him, but he's definitely put up a great test right there. Rankin's going to pass that test, but I think he might have shown his strategy to Hartley.
He's testing. I think that's a test to see, A, can he make the pass going into 1, or does he have to make sure he sticks it, and on which side of the track does he want to be on? And he might just be toying with him a little bit. This is, these guys obviously race. Yeah, exactly. You go, here, let me just sort of stick my nose out here and see if you want to try and go side by side here. You're not going to win it with 3 laps to go, right? You're going to just play around. The winning pass is going to be on the last lap.
Yeah, the winning pass is definitely going to be on the last lap or coming out to the last lap. Kevin Ford is off the track, and he's got a lot of damage on the front end. Oh, no! Oh, no.
Oh, unfortunately, could not hold it coming back out on the track. That's unfortunate.
Completely unfortunate. And we got these 2 Mazdas going side by side again. This time Rankin's being forced wide. Hartley's going down to the outside. Oh, he's lined up perfectly with him. Rankin's forced to go low. Hartley's got full use of this corner right here. And he's going to be forced a little bit wide. He's going to get up a little bit in the draft. They have a Mustang coming around there. Hartley's going to be onto the outside. 3 wide they go.
If you're Hartley, you want to know if you can make the pass before the stripe. And he did. So he knows that if he's trailing in the hairpin, he can still make the pass before the stripe on the last lap. That's important to know.
Hartley left the room for Elvis on the inside, but Hartley takes the lead here at Phillip Island with less than 3 minutes to go. Kevin Ford was issued a drive-through penalty for that incident that we saw. No real finger pointing there. No, the Mustang! And Rankin gets into the back of Hartley.
Oh, if we need a little bit more tension.
We did mention that the MX-5s are so much faster than the Mustangs going through this corner, and I don't believe there was contact between them. I believe that Mustang just went off on his own. He saw what was happening and was like, I do not want a part of this at all.
Well, the Mustang had gone by on the straightaway, and then when they got to turn 2, the Mustang was left on the outside of the corner. He just couldn't quite hold on to it. Luckily, the 2 Miatas were able to kind of stay out of the inside. The Mustang took care of himself. But don't be surprised if we get back to the straightaway. There's going to be a Mustang coming up on them again.
Yeah, Steve Daniel is going to be, I believe that was David Sanders, actually, in that
you're right.
Mustang. Actually, no, it was not.
Oh, side by side again.
Rankin down low. And Hartley defending on the outside. Side by side they go. Hartley put himself very defensively right there.
So here's your chance again to see can Rankin make the run as they come all the way up to the stripe this time.
The door has been closed on Elvis Rankin right there. Hartley positioned himself so well to cut back from the switchback. Elvis Rankin try and dive down the inside, set him up for a great run, but he's just going to negate all of that because he doesn't have the draft leading into there. And they're going to go side by side. Hartley has the draft of a lapped car. They're going to go 3 wide for a second. Hartley's going to get a little bit of a speed boost.
Are we on white flag?
Yes, they are. 30 seconds left.
Oh, this is intense. Now it's on. Now the gloves are gone. The gloves have been thrown into the garbage disposal at this point.
And look who's behind them right now. The leaders are all in this little trifecta. Aeronom
He might as well
is
stay back
right
and watch.
behind him. Just watch this fight.
He's got the best. He's got the best seat in the house.
Oh, he's gonna be a little pick for Hartley right here. He's gonna force Rankin to go wide. Here comes Hartley down low. Hartley's gonna be set up onto the outside. Rankin's gonna be forced to send it into this corner. Rankin does send it. Here comes Hartley on the switchback. Side by side they go. Hartley and Rankin battling out for the lead. This is great racing. Hartley forced to go on to the outside. Rankin down, back into the lead right now. Hartley's going for the switchback. Hartley's got a great run. Here we go from our shopper cam. Hartley, Rankin, side by side action here in the NX5s at Phillip Island, here at the Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment Classic Sprint Series, presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphic. Hartley holding down the inside line. Elvis Rankin trying to hold down that outside line, trying to go for the switchback on the move, but Hartley held it down to the inside and into the lead. He held that line. He's got a car link on Rankin. Rankin trying to go for the best exit he can ever get. Nose to tail they go. Coming out of the final corner they go. And it's
all about the draft. It's all about the draft.
Race. Here we go.
Does he have a
Rankin,
run?
he's got a good run. Hartley's going to be defending as much as he can. He's defending all the way down to the exit of the track. Side by side they go into drag race. Hartley, Rankin, Hartley, Rankin by a nose.
What a finish.
What a finish and what a race for Elvis Rankin and Robert Hartley. Wow.
And these guys are doing the exact same thing. These guys are also going to be going side by side through here and see if they can do the same thing, coming out of the same dig here at 10, trying to get the run up to the line. This is how every one of these close finishes is going to be. This is Cranston and Patton, I think. Yep.
Yeah, David Payton in that 64 trying to get up on Cranston. He's doing the exact same line that Elvis did, but he's not close enough. We got a car way off the track right there. And a little bit of a late move.
A little swerve, a little bob, a little weave.
I think that was trying to avoid the 24, who was the Mustang that went off right there. Well, wow. That finish.
Those last 3 or 4 laps there, as Hartley was able to hunt down Rankin and get up with him, and then the two of them just side by side for those last 4 laps. But Rankin saved just enough and played the chess match to make sure that to get that run off of 10 and get that draft and just 14 thousandths at the line. Meanwhile, Aeronom just said, "I got this race, guys." It just grabbed it by the scruff of the neck.
He's out of fuel. Aeronom's out of fuel, and I think he's going to receive a little bit of a bump draft on the final lap from, who's that? There we go. There they go. And the reason why he's bump drafting is the winning drivers are required to line up on the front straight, and well, if you don't have fuel to do it, I think you do deserve a little bit of a push. Well, as Cameron helps Aeronom get to the winner's circle, you're here watching the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphic. We'll be right back with our winners after this break. Welcome back to the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series. After a bonsai finish, and we're going to be watching this replay live with y'all right now. Just look at the strategy that Elvis Rakin did on Hartley. Hartley is the car with the yellow roll bars, Rakin in the black one. He just had that perfect line through there, and he had all the draft, and it was so close at the line between these two. It just barely Rakin by a nose. What a finish for the win of our Mazda category.
Just inches between them. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
And it was beautiful, but certainly something that wasn't involved with inches. Might have been inches on fuel load, but, well, that's a different story. Herron takes the win ahead of Clint Weiss, Karen Martineau, and third place, who gets the Pusher Award to get Herron back onto the front straight. Tony Kernan, Jeff Jacobs, Tyler Shiflett, Steve Daniel, Kevin Ford, David Sanders, and Robert Burst finishing in 10th. And then the field that we all want to talk about, the SD Pro, 15 thousandths of a second. Elvis Rakin takes the win from a hard-fought Robert Hartley, Travis Schwenke, Mike Dam, Jordy Fight, David Payton, Chris Thorman, John Allen, Jacob Beasley at the end of the SD Pro grid. The SD Opens win goes to Brendan Herron, Jeffrey Cranston, Mike Taylor, Mitchell Peak, Derek Holland, Greg Brockway, Edgar Sanchinelli, Nicholas Parchinao, Casey Duncan, Michael Key, and Greg Mack at the end of that grid. And we are standing by, well, I got to say, we are standing by with the most excited driver of this race. Let's go talk to Elvis Rakin. Elvis, how was that race, man?
Fun. That's the only way to put it. That was too much fun.
That it certainly seemed like a bunch of fun for you. You were in the lead. You were in the lead pack. And then coming up to that final lap, what was your strategy when you knew that you and Robert were going to be battling to the end? Talk us through your strategy. Talk us what was going through your mind right there.
Well, before the race, I wanted to be in second coming into the final lap. And then, kind of coming to the last lap, I was like, I kind of want to be in first. And then, we were going side by side, and I saw we were side by side with a couple corners to go on the outside, so I was like, all right, let me just back out and try and get a good run for the front straightaway. But no, it was so much fun. He was definitely faster than me. It's just the draft is so strong, but it was too much fun for sure.
Coming into that final corner, did you know in your head that what you needed to do to get past him, or was it just like a close your eyes, pray that shovel forward in your seat, trying to get enough advantage as you can?
It was definitely a shovel forward in your seat moment. I was just screaming, go. He was as well. It was like, come on, get there. And just happened to just get enough. So that was
well, I could tell you that not only you were you and Robert at the edge of your seat, me, Larry, Alex, Dennis, and the entire crowd here on YouTube was definitely at the edge of their seats. A finish for the ages. Congrats on the win, Elvis. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, for sure. I want to first thank Rob, running me super hard and clean. I was kind of telling him once John, I think, made a speeding penalty mistake, Kind of think the championship's wrapped up if I just finish, top 3 or so. So I just told him, let's finish first. And then let's just make sure both cars get to the flag. Did an amazing job as always. So much fun racing this guy. And all my other teammates, Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke, John Allen for the time we got to race in this race. And Jordy Fike was up there as well. So it was so much fun. And, Ryan Race Team, HPP, Mark, thank you so much. I'm running a pair of HPPs now, some of the best pedals out there. Go make sure you guys go buy a pair. JRT, Joe Real Timing, the best dashboard overlay timing software there is out there. Couldn't do it without JRT. That was what calculates the fuel and got me to the flag tonight on fuel. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa for them just supporting me in everything that I do. I want to thank my team manager, Frosty St. Clair, keeping us all in a bunch and taking the risk on me and putting me with this amazing group. And Ricmotech, Elite Texas Graphics for putting on the league, and Extreme 99 and the admins, Kevin Ford's, Jeff Jacobs, and Bobby Childs and Russ Ruddock. Without them, this couldn't happen, and I'm just over the moon.
Well, go be over the moon for the rest of the night, man. Congrats on the win, and you have yourself a great night. As Larry is standing by with our overall winner of Herron.
Is he here? There he goes. Herron, hey, congratulations on the win tonight. I'd like to say uneventful, but these races are never uneventful. Tell me a little bit about your run to the win tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty easy overall, but yeah, I had a very loose setup again, so I had to make sure not to run out of stack and tires. So yeah.
You get a little help getting the push to the the photo line there for the winner's circle.
Oh yeah, I ran out of fuel maybe 100 meters before the finish line.
Well, just you had a pretty good margin there. A really clean race for you. You also looked like you had a pretty good bird's eye view of the leaders in the MX5 race as you came up with them on their last lap. Was there any thought on holding back, or were you thinking just get by them as quick as you could and let that battle go behind you?
Yeah, I was thinking to wait, but would be too much. Just I made sure I passed them safely and passed both them, so that I don't impede.
Yeah, that's probably the best. Well, congratulations on the win tonight. Anybody you want to thank?
I'd like to thank all the sponsors, drivers, and admins, and guys there in the booth.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again on the win.
Thanks, guys.
That was Herron taking the win in the Mustangs, and let's bring in our ST Open winner right here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Brennan Herron.
Good evening.
Brennan, that was a great race for you. It got a little bit rough for you. I see some damage on your car. What happened right there?
Yeah, that was on the last lap. The last couple of laps, my tires were completely gone, and I almost went off in turn 2, and then going into the hairpin, I almost blew the hairpin, and coming back on, I hit one of the Mustangs. So sorry to whoever that was, but that is what the damage is from.
Well, it looked like it. Well, just from that description, it seemed like you had a very eventful race. Walk us through that race from start to finish for you and some key spots.
Well, at the beginning, it was pretty chill, just trying to stay in line, seeing what would happen. After the pit stops, though, both my teammates ended up getting involved in a few incidents, and I was all alone on track, so it was just down to me keeping consistent and hoping that the people behind me did not catch up.
Well, they certainly did not catch up to you, and you held your own to stay in the lead of the ST Opens, and you're getting a good hunk of points right there to put you in a good spot for the championship.
Yeah.
Well, Brennan, as you sit in the winner's circle, I'm pretty sure you're over the moon and want to celebrate, so I'm going to make this quick for you. Anyone you want to thank?
Well, Team Esport Racer for taking care of me throughout this season and the last half of last season. Especially our team's technical director, Greg Brockway, for providing another winning setup. I'd like to thank you guys for the great stream, Extreme, and their admins, and the sponsors, who you can go check out through the Extreme website. Big thanks to them. My mom, my grandparents for their continued support, especially my grandfather tonight, who's sick in the hospital. He's the one who got me into motorsports and road racing, so without him, I wouldn't be driving, and I won this one for him tonight.
Well, he's going to be very proud for you right there, and I think he's going to be very proud that you took that win for him, and hopefully he gets better very soon.
Yes, you too. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Brennan. Larry, how was that race? Any final words?
I'm impressed at the craftsmanship at these field. Just watching the racecraft on those last couple laps there between Elvis Rankin and Rob Hartley. It was just amazing to watch Hartley claw his way back up there after the pit exchange had him 5 seconds back to get himself in that position, and then watch the two of those side by side for the last 4 laps. Just never know how it was going to come out. It just was beautiful to watch. I just love seeing that, and to me that's just racing at its rawest core.
It certainly was racing at its rawest form, and it certainly was very impressive to watch. Thank you, everybody who joined us here for the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series here at Phillip Island Circuit. Before we go to the upcoming races, I just got to say, big thanks to Alex Simpson and Dennis Branch for all these lovely graphics brought to you by the SDK Gaming app, where you can add virtual live HUDs to iRacing, showing timing towers, NAS relative boxes, minimaps, fuel calculators, and more. And you can adjust your team strategies on the fly with the most accurate live timing software here on iRacing. Go find out more at sdk-gaming.co.uk. And here are final races coming up for the Classic Sprint Series. Is going to be coming up very soon, but the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, absolutely wonderful. And we got other races coming up for y'all here on Apex Racing TV throughout the week, but the rest of the races here for the Ricmotech, the next 3 races, November 23rd, the Sports Car Series is going to be at Phillip Island. November 30th, the GT Challenge is going to be at Sebring for their final. And then December 7th, the Classic Sprint Series will be at the final at Sebring as well. And it's going to be a very, very excited race for those finals to end out the year here for the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, presented by Proforma Elite Texas Graphics. Once again, I've been joined by Mary Lloyd, Alex Simpson, Dennis Branch. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.